different associations, CREA, AII, and NAHI, and I've had a few hundred hours of training from each one of these. And then when the City of San Marino put in the compliance inspection, actually they asked me to come aboard and be an inspector over there. So those are my basic requirements. And today my subject is, and again I'm sure that all of you have had this on your reports, and that is call a specialist, call a plumber, call an electrician. In other words, call somebody who can give the answers when the home inspector has not been able to do that. Basically, what I'm trying to do is clarify why a home inspector would do this. And the basic simple answer is that he likes training, or she, and experience. Again, as you can see by my resume, I've been in the business a number of years and started when I was young, and I know certain things inside and out. I've noticed that in a lot of reports there's a note that says, see a general contractor. Now, in seeing a general contractor, you have to realize how the general contractor came about and how he got his license. Basically, he was some sort of a specialist in an area. Either he was a good carpenter, good electrician, good plumber, and then he gained these other things by being around trades and so forth. So again, after a general contractor has a amount of the experience, then he's qualified. But basically, he's not qualified in all areas. He's qualified probably very exclusively in one or two areas. So anyway, when you call a general contractor, just be aware that he has limited knowledge in a lot of things, and he has great knowledge in one particular subject. The other thing that I wanted to bring out is that our, how can I say it at this point in time, our great state of California has done little or nothing as far as the home inspection industry. This basically is all they have done, and it comes in SB 258 home inspectors, and I'm going to read it. It is the intent of the legislature in enacting this act to assure that customers of home inspection services can rely on the competitiveness of home inspectors. It is the intent of the legislature that in ascertaining the degree of care that would be exercised by a reasonably prudent home inspector pursuant to section 7196 of the Business and Professional Code. The court may consider the standards of practice and code of ethics of the California Real Estate Inspection Association, the American Society of Home Inspectors, and other nationally recognized professional home inspection associations. So that basically is what the state of California has done for us. Now, in this paragraph, it refers to section 7196, and this pretty well spells it out. Section 7196 says, it is the duty of a home inspector who is not licensed as a general contractor, structural pest control operator or architect, or registered as a professional engineer to conduct a home inspection with the degree of care that is reasonably prudent home inspector would exercise. So anyway, that's what the state of California has done for the home inspection industry. I'm going to say not really enough. You haven't put enough teeth in it, but that's the way it is. Okay, here's kind of a gripe of mine, and this happened a number of years ago, the Department of Employment was taking people who were out of work and they were suggesting that they become home inspectors. They were paying the fee for them to go to school and to do their home inspection. And this is one of the things that brings us into a category of there's some people out there that have been maybe on desk jobs and so forth that are not really qualified. So anyway, that's kind of a graph that I have seen in the home inspection business. But again, everybody has to work, everybody has to have a job. And again, it's up to you as realtors to select your home inspector. Let me also cite an incident that I think further kind of qualifies myself, and that is that when I was working with Bechtel Corporation, we were doing silos for missiles, and we were doing these in areas that were secluded and also areas where they really didn't want a lot of people nosing around as to what they were doing, and they tried to keep as much traffic away from these silos as possible, and in other words, they didn't want trucks going in and out, and that type of thing. And it was amazing, the biggest problem that we had with one of these silos, and again, it was in an area where the ground froze about 25 feet deep. And what do we do with the sewage? And this was a topic we discussed over and over and over. So finally, it came down to the point where we discussed it a number of times. And myself, I was driving to work that one day, and I thought, gee, what do the people do with the sewage who live there all the time? So the next meeting we had, I brought this up, and I said, hey, contact the people that are there and find out what they do with their sewage. So anyway, they did, and they eliminated the problem. So the reason I cited that is because I have been on almost all of my life the thinking end of the engineering program and so forth. So that's where it is. I have one gripe with the inspection agencies, CREA, ASHI, and a lot of the others, and that is that at this point in time, what they're doing is they're causing the inspectors to learn more about a lot of little things, and to, when they inspect this house, to dig in and find things that may need maintenance 4 or 5 years ago. And I guess what I'm really saying is when you see an inspector come onto the site and he's got a whole bunch of tools around his belt, you know that he's going to be looking for all these kind of things. Anyway, that's basically what I want to say. It's a gripe of mine, but in summary, let me say this. Be careful who you pick for your home inspector. Be sure that the person knows when to stop talking. You know, what does Earle mean by that? I mean that there are some people that come and they try to tell all of their experience, what they know, their background and so forth. And this is good, but sometimes people talk too much. There's always a time to, what is it, shut up? Okay, so what I'm really saying is get an experienced
attorneys. Number 2 are inspectors. This is a very dangerous field, and when you're hiring an inspector, please make sure you do homework. I left you little educate postcards, if you can please find them, and we're gonna go over this. This is how you're gonna qualify your inspector. The state does not regulate this business. Anybody can do inspections. There's no licensing required, there's no insurance required, there's no experience required. You do not have to be a member of any association. You do not have to even know how to put a nail on the wall, and you become an inspector. So whenever you're hiring your inspection company, I prepared this. This is on our website also. Please make sure to use this. It says educate, and it says how to qualify an inspector. The first column is us. And you know how my heart and my soul is sharing. So I did not put only my company name there. I left 2 blank ones for you. So in case you're gonna give 3 choices, the first one is mine. I already qualified us, and I put all the check marks. The number 1 is your inspector a part of any professional association, which like Earle was just mentioning, that he was in all of those associations. There's CREA, ASHI, AHI, all of them serve the same purpose. You do not have to be a member of all, 1 is enough. CREA is the oldest one. It's short for California Real Estate Inspectors Association. CREA is what puts us into our sort of place. That's the only, and along with the other associations, that take us to 40 hours continuing education. They bring 7 to 8 attorneys most of the time, then they scare the hell out of us. They tell us what happened, who got sued, who, I'm sorry to say, died because of a certain thing that we missed to check. And that's how, when you see your reports, and sometimes you see something is added on, uneven stairs noted, do not get upset, because that means somebody got hurt. Even though it might not have been the inspector's fault, but because somebody got hurt, and you guys all know, the buyer sue the seller, the agent, the inspector, escrow, even though escrow has nothing to do with it, they go wherever the deep pockets are. So you need to be okay with that, and not think that, oh my God, I don't know why they wrote about everything. It's because those are the lawsuits that we've seen and that we've heard of. So that's number 1. CREA teaches us how to be careful and brings us up to code. Number 2 is you need to make sure your inspection company is insured. It's called E&O, errors and omission. It's just like your real estate license. When you have your license at your office, wherever you have your license, they have an E&O for you. That means if you make an error, if you make a mistake. So with inspections, you do not have to have an insurance, so do not hire somebody who does not have an E&O insurance. Make sure they fax you the certificate of insurance. Make sure it's not expired. Look at the expiration. If it's expired, it doesn't mean anything. It's just like our car insurance, health insurance, whatever insurance we have. If we don't renew it, we don't have it. So make sure it's not expired. If the inspection company tells you, I'm not required to have one, hang up. There are a lot of companies out there, they do have insurances. And so if they say, I can't send it to you, I'll bring it to the site, ask them to fax it to you. If you already have an insurance inspection and you love the company and you're trusting them, when they're bringing it to the site, make sure it's not a life insurance. Because that happens to Hilton and Highlands in Beverly Hills, where I go every month. The realtor got up and did a testimonial, because I was there a month before announcing it. She says, Mary, I checked it, it was his life insurance from Prime America. Okay? Because they can say, I have it, I'll bring it. If they have it, why don't they fax it? Why don't they email it? We're in 2011, duh. You can do that, right? So if they do not bring it, and if they bring it to the site, please make sure it's not expired. Do not get excited, it's there, put it in your file, okay? And get excited, you have it. The insurance, by the way, covers what we made a mistake on. When we're here, if anything happens, let's say we're inspecting this property, if I break something, somebody falls down, we leave. And if we miss any of the items, then insurance has to take care of it if it's our fault. So if the inspection company, I have a lot of agents of you come in and give me your horror stories, that inspector missed something, and you call them and said, you know what, it was not part of my inspection, and I can give you my inspection money back, because the scope of inspection, where the buyer signs at the side, states that we will we will give you the inspection money back if we miss something. Please do not rely and do not believe in that. Attorneys that do that for us, the attorneys do make the scope of inspection, and believe me, if we miss something, this is why we have insurance. So if you get sued, we have it. Why would we have an insurance if the scope of inspection says it's whatever money you paid me, I'm going to give you back? And if that was something that it had any legs to stand on, why are we buying these insurances? Okay? I have one more minute. Number 3, please make sure your inspection company does not do any other services than inspection. Please, because you don't know if there's conflict of interest. I can tell you, check with the specialist on this, check with the specialist on that, check with the specialist on that, and you know what? I'll make your life easy. There, these are the companies. Go hire them. And they make the money out of the inspections, and plus sometimes there's no problems, okay? So do that. And also, anything else than inspections, do not hire them. And please ask them how long of experience they have. More than 5 years is a good number. And it's all here. And ask them if they're contractors. If they're not, do not do inspections with them. Ask them for their contractor's license number. If it's expired, that's fine. They're not doing construction now. Those are all the qualifications I put in. The other 2 is blank. So whoever you're hiring, ask them and check mark. I know I feel like I'm on the red carpet. I love you guys. And I have more that I can talk to you guys, but now my new friend, handsome friend, is going to continue. Love you guys. And if you have any other questions, I'll be here.
I do want to say that I did take the test myself, your test on the card. And I could say I passed. Just a real quick, my background is, I'm not an active contractor anymore, but I was for 8 years. I did remodeling, a lot of properties, okay? I was also an FHA appraiser for 12 years and a home inspector for 9 years. So that's my combined background, which gives me a wealth of knowledge. When I go to a property, it's like having 3 people inspect your property. It's like having a contractor look at the contractor's eyes, the appraiser's eyes, I can call it FHA stuff, and of course, the home inspection, put it all together and report for it, okay? But what I'm gonna talk about today is I want to ask you guys a question. Has anybody here ever bought a used car? Show hands here. Okay. So when you go out to the car lot and you look at a used car, oh, that's the car I want. Condition of the tires. These are all key questions you need to ask when you're buying a used car. So now, the reason why I compare that to a home is going to cost way more than a used car. But what you would pay for a used car, you're probably going to put for your down payment or your closing costs, right? So that just lets you know, buying a home is a huge investment. So just the same way that a car has main components that you should check before purchasing it, a home is the same way. Okay? Now I created this little quick cheat sheet, which will give like the 5 main components of a home. I didn't go into a whole lot of detail because it could get more technical, but I'm trying to simplify it so that everybody here can relate to it. So, same thing, when you get to a house, you want to know the condition of the roof, the foundation, the electrical system, the plumbing system, the heating and air conditioning. Those are the main components that you want to make sure as to their condition, because those are the ones that could end up costing your clients, and whether it's the seller or the buyer's side, can cost a lot of money somewhere down the line to close your transaction. So I put little notes right here that you as realtors can really understand, and it's simplified. When you go out to the property, just check these things out, okay? You look at the roof, you're looking for if there's any sagging along the edges, the midsection, the ridge point, which is the highest point. You're looking for like cracked parts of the shingles, or missing or worn out shingles or tiles. That's important because that's indicative that there may be a problem with the roof, okay? Same thing, the foundation, if you see cracks or kind of sagging floors inside the house, or horizontal cracks or cracks along the windows or the door frames, there may be a problem with the foundation. Same thing with the electrical. I checked the electrical panel, and I'm sure my other colleagues here do. You need to know, was the wiring done properly? Has the owner recently installed other type of lighting, and maybe they double tapped into a breaker instead of having a separate breaker for it, which could be a potential electrical fire down the road. Now, these are all the things that I know that as a realtor, it's my job to explain these things to you, but I'd rather give you the information so you're that much more ahead in knowing the condition, the true condition of the property and how it's going to affect your closing. There's also the plumbing system. Okay, there's things that I get more in depth because I go underneath the house. Okay, I run all the water. Simultaneously, I look for leaks. I look for venting. I look for proper drainage. Those are all things that are very important because they're key to the function of your house. Same thing with heating and air conditioning. There could be a lot of, and there is a lot of air conditioning units that they're still working, but they're way past their expected life expectancy. A lot of them are still functioning, so It's important to know the condition of your heating and your air conditioning, and sometimes you can have an old unit that's been maintained, so it just needs to be serviced, okay? It could be something that needs to be replaced, but these are things that are going to cost either your client time or money, a lot of money, delay your transactions, okay? And I think it's important that myself as a home inspector, I'm a proactive home inspector. That's why I was glad when they asked me to come here to be on the panel, because I believe in sharing what I know by being proactive and passing this information along to all of you as realtors. We work together as a team. So anything here, if you can pretty much remember this and just make it kind of a habit, you're going to be that much more credible with your clients. Your transactions are going to move more smoothly, and you're going to have more closings. And I think more closings lead to more referrals because, hey, this guy took care of me, this agent knew these things, I don't have to worry about them. And it can work either for if you're representing the seller or you're representing the buyer.